What if I told you the next trillion-dollar economic frontier isn't in Silicon Valley, isn't in Southeast Asia? It's literally above your head, right now, happening in space. Because here's what most people are completely sleeping on. The global space economy right now is worth roughly $565 billion. That's already enormous. But by 2036, it's projected to hit $1.42 trillion, growing at 8.5% every single year. To put that in human terms, that's roughly the size of the entire Indian economy. One of the fastest growing economies on the planet, doubling in just over a decade, in space. We're talking about space doing that. Now, how did we get here? Because not long ago, space was pure government territory. NASA, Roscosmos, slow-moving, budget-dependent, not exactly known for disruption. What broke the dam was one thing: the cost of getting stuff up there. Sending 1 kilogram of cargo to space used to run you about $65,000. $65,000 per kilogram. That's not a typo. Then SpaceX showed up with reusable rockets. Think of it like this: imagine if every commercial flight just threw the airplane away after landing instead of refueling and flying again. That's what the rocket industry used to do. SpaceX said, what if we just didn't? And suddenly, that $65,000 per kilogram collapsed to just $1,500. That's a 90% drop in launch costs. And that one shift basically opened the floodgates for private money to pour in. And pour in it did. Between 2020 and 2023, NASA alone handed $15 billion to private companies. That funding helped create over 15 space unicorns, startups valued above $1 billion each, practically overnight. SpaceX alone is now handling 80% of all US rocket launches. 80%. One company. Then there's the part that genuinely sounds like science fiction but absolutely isn't. The lunar economy. The moon has its own economy now. It's valued at $12.52 billion in 2025 and expected to hit $19.8 billion by 2030, growing at 9.5% a year, with over $100 billion in infrastructure investment already planned. The moon is not a destination anymore. It's a construction site. The bottom line? Space is doing exactly what the internet did in the 1990s, transitioning from a government science project into a full-blown commercial engine. And just like back then, the early movers are positioning themselves for generational wealth. So in the next segment, we're going to break down exactly who those players are and what they're actually building up there. So now that you know the scale of what's being built up there, the real question is, who actually profits when rockets go up? Because not everyone wins in a boom. Let's get into it. The clearest winners right now: defense contractors. Companies like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman are positioned to lock in over $100 billion in government space contracts by 2030, just for space defense infrastructure. Think of them as the construction companies of the space age. Governments don't have a choice here. This hardware gets built regardless of what markets are doing. That's a pretty comfortable place to be sitting. Then there's the suppliers. And this is where it gets interesting. Every single rocket needs aerospace-grade materials, actually, specialized semiconductors. Basically microchips built to survive radiation and extreme temperatures that would fry your laptop in milliseconds. And precision-engineered components. The companies quietly making those parts? They're set to ride over $1 trillion in private investment flowing into the sector. Sound familiar? It's the exact same playbook as the early internet era. The companies selling servers and fiber optic cables got rich before anyone had even heard of Google. Thematic ETFs. Those are basically baskets of stocks built around a single theme like space tech. And space-focused mutual funds are already starting to attract serious institutional money chasing exactly this wave. But here's the other side of that coin. Because there are real losers in this story too. Traditional mining companies could get absolutely blindsided if pulling rare earth minerals like lithium and cobalt out of asteroids becomes cheaper than digging them out of the ground. And telecom providers? They're already feeling it. Low Earth orbit satellite broadband. Think Starlink. Beams internet straight from space and completely bypasses the ground infrastructure that old school telecom spent decades building. That's not a minor disruption. That's an existential one. So look, this isn't just a story for astronauts and aerospace engineers. It's a capital allocation story. The trillion-dollar question is simple. When this shift plays out, which side of it is your portfolio on? Next, we're zooming out even further to what all of this means for global geopolitics and the countries racing to control the cislunar corridor. That's coming up. So now that you know where the money is flowing, the real question is, what do you actually do about it? How do you think about space as a business opportunity without losing your shirt? Here's the honest answer, and it comes with a reality check. Think about the California gold rush of 1849. Prospectors flooded in chasing the dream. Most went broke. But the guys selling pickaxes, boots, and canned beans, they almost always won. That is your mental model for the space economy right now. Yes, the market is heading toward $1.42 trillion by 2036, growing at 8.5% a year. But here's what the hype doesn't tell you. This sector is brutally capital intensive, and payback periods of 10 years or more are completely normal. You invest in a space startup today, you might not see a rupee of profit until 2035. That's a long time to hold your breath. And frankly, most of these startups will burn through cash and fail before they ever get there. So what's the smarter play? Go picks and shovels? The suppliers, the software providers, the logistics firms, the data analytics companies. These are the businesses that serve the space industry without ever needing to build a rocket themselves. Lower risk, real revenue, and they scale as the whole sector scales. Beyond that, watch the satellite data economy. As thousands of LEO satellites go up, the data they generate. Crop yields, shipping routes, weather patterns, urban planning. That data becomes incredibly valuable for industries you are already operating in. And don't sleep on the talent economy either. Space companies are hiring engineers, project managers, regulatory specialists, and yes, marketers, right now. If your business serves high-growth tech sectors, space is your next client vertical. Here's the analogy that should stick with you. In 1995, most people thought the internet was a niche hobby for university students. By 2005, it had rewritten every single industry on the planet. Space is on that exact same curve, just about 10 years behind. The window to position early is still open. The question is whether you're watching from the sidelines, or whether you're already building your stake. Follow us for more updates like this. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and X.